And here we go. We're now live and officially beginning 5 steps to create a better future and a preview of the Silva immersion, what we call life and intuition system, and how that might fit. So some of you are brand new to Silva or you have not been through the training. And this is meant to be content rich, takeaways, lots of takeaways for you, standalone, and also to give you a taste to see if this is a good fit for you. Many more of you are graduates who've graced me with your presence or others, and we want to build on what you know. Repetition is key. It's not so much the information because you get a different point of view, a different slant, a different way of looking at it. It's how we learn. It's how we create new neural pathways. So welcome, everybody. What was it? Last month, early in October, or maybe it was late September, forgive me. It's been quite a month of weddings and parties and my 70th birthday that time is kind of lost. But if you remember, I did the roadmap to a better future. Today is a buildup on that, sort of part 2, if you will. There are several pillars that stand on the very foundation of Mr. Silva's work that's been all over the world for over 55 years now. And in part 1, roadmap, we looked at the 4 skills necessary to navigate life with grace and ease. It's available on my blog page. It's available on my YouTube channel. If you haven't watched it, and even if you have, it's worth going back. I got so many wonderful comments, people, insights and breakthroughs. Wow, and it's just 90 minutes. Tonight, I want to build on that. And we're looking at steps. What are some of the steps we can begin to take so that we are in the driver's seat, taking back our lives, creating a better future? Just to acknowledge it, and you don't really need me to remind you what a hot mess things are out there. All stuff. I don't even want to go into it, right? Because we all know. So how in the world can you and I avoid becoming victimized by all this stuff? It takes training. It's not easy. Let's face it. It's not a quick fix, but it can be done. And for those of you who are practitioners of the Silva Method, the tools, or any modality that you're actively engaged with, you know what I mean. That we may not be able to change the world and the stuff out there and the crap, but our perspective, our point of view, the way we frame it, the value we place on it makes a world of difference. It's the determining factor. And of course, it takes some added effort with that. So in this program, I recommend take some notes, small notes, bullet points, just key points with respect to that. And what I'm saying is more people than I care to remember are feeling very uncertain about their future, very concerned. I don't personally feel so concerned about my future, but for my 3 grandchildren, my children, especially grandchildren, because of what they're going to be inheriting potentially, it does concern me. We share that. And yet I know we can make a difference. And that is my hope, that whether you are involved in Silva Method or choose to be or not, whatever your modality, we need more and more people doing good, making a difference, being the change that they want to see in the world. That's what it takes, sort of one person at a time with respect to that. Now I want to just move something on my screen that's blocking. Right, for that. So again, recommend be on video if you're not. I mean, you don't have to be, but make sure that you can see. I think you'll get more from it. So let's take a look now and let's begin. Let's dive into this material as we get ready. 5 steps to solve problems in the Silva life system, which is part 1, day 1 and 2 of what we now call the Silva Method immersion experience. This is one of the topics that kind of sets the ball rolling, as you will. It's one of the pillars. Well, I've been doing some research and a lot of reading, and it's interesting when you're clear about your intention. I've experienced a number of meaningful synchronicities, videos, things, reading, references that will add to that. So I want to really build on that. So let's take a look together. And also, please understand, especially those of you who maybe have little experience with meditation, let alone the Silva Method, that we have 4 full days to build out this beautiful work of art, this masterpiece that Mr. Silva developed for us. We go from 9 in the morning till 7 o'clock at night with just one hour food break. And most of the time is spent, overall, better than 50% of our time is spent practicing, developing the tools. So tonight, in the 90 minutes, I'm going to guide you through several short processes, guided meditation, very short, but enough to give you a taste and to help you to integrate what we're doing tonight in a more meaningful way. And it's something then that you can model on your own. And I want you to know that and be aware of that you'll probably need more time to go deeper into what we'll be covering. So you ready? Again, hugs to all of you. I so appreciate you being here, that you inspire me to do this work and to continue. Those of you who don't know, it's 51 years for me. Well, 51 years will be in May, excuse me, to be precise, a little over 50. It's hard to believe. And it wasn't always a piece of cake. I've had my share of struggles and challenges and mistakes, and nearly went bankrupt a couple of times and had to wait on tables and load trucks for the privilege of offering this to you, to our community. Well, that's the past. I learned those lessons, and now I mentor new instructors to help them kind of start where I'm at. So this framework, if you will, is really is a cornerstone principle. So let's take a look together and little by little, sneak peek. So there are 5 steps, and just quickly, I'll say them. Number 1 is to acknowledge the circumstances. 2, be clear about your intention, have a goal, an outcome. 3, you got to have a plan or a strategy. 4, you need to act on it. And 5, appreciate, claim it, celebrate yourself for the success. So let's come back. Step number 1 of these 5 steps would be, as I said, to acknowledge the current circumstances. And part of acknowledgement is to even have the self-awareness, to realize, to recognize there's a problem, there's a difficulty. Have you ever had the experience, or have you ever had the experience with someone in your life you care about, and you can clearly see, or at least that's your opinion, that they have a real challenge, maybe a problem, but they don't agree? Oh no, everything's fine. So the first step is to actually consciously recognize a behavior pattern that's repetitive, that's getting in the way. Sometimes people have a behavior pattern of going from one relationship to another, to another, to another. And it's interesting, when they're in the new relationship, it's like, yeah, oh, wow. And then months later, it depends on the person, maybe years later, you hear the same complaints. Sometimes you see the same thing with people in their careers or in their business. I feel a little odd. I'm doing the same thing. I've never worked in a corporate sector or, quote, had a real job, although this is a career. And there are people who've changed, I don't know how many times. And sometimes in mentoring people and helping them, I recognize this pattern that they go from one to another, and the same kinds of baggage comes with them. So it really doesn't take rocket science, does it, for us to recognize that there's a problem here, a difficulty, a repetitive pattern that's not leading us to fulfillment, that's not helping us to get what we want and need in our lives to have a more fulfilling life. Understood? Can you see that? Just nod with me. I'll imagine you're nodding. Thank you. This is yes. Do this for no. And what are you going to do for maybe? I invite you, play along with me, please. Even in my classes now, I've gotten even more playful than ever before. Life is too serious and too short. And the interesting thing is when you play, you're more likely to access your inner conscious, your intuition, your inner wisdom that helps you to move forward in your life. More of that a little bit later. So as I said, the first step is to recognize and to be aware, to take responsibility, to acknowledge, but not wallow in it, and certainly not ruminate in it. So dare I say, without going in detail, because it's too much, I think, when we hear, do you know anybody who's a chronic complainer? I'm sure you do. And if you noticed, they keep repeating the same mistakes. And what they don't realize is that they're mentally rehearsing what they don't want. And we see this here in some of the systems that are degrading in our civilization. It's always like pointing the finger, who's wrong? And it's more about who's right, who's wrong, rather than let's get together and work this out. In my humble opinion, and I urge you, we could all use a lot more praise and a lot less complaining. Complaining becomes like worry. It gives us something to do, but doesn't get us anywhere. And yet, my friends, what I am saying is that it is important that we also not ignore any upset, any negative emotions, any bad feelings, any tragedy or loss, whatever it might be. We don't want to just put it under the rug. And no, that doesn't work. It never did. That's denial. What I'm saying is we want to honor our feelings, honor those upsets, explore those emotions, what we're feeling and why. And if it's overwhelming, get help. It's nothing wrong. It's actually, I think, a badge of honor to seek help professionally or otherwise, someone who can guide you if the need be. And with that, it's just that we want to then, once we recognize it, once we label it, you remember mirror the mind, those of you graduates, one of the most used of the Silva techniques, the first step is what we call the blue frame. And we imagine the way things have been up till now. We recognize the way things have been up till now. And once we do, we then start working on the outcome, the solution. Make sense? Just give me the nod. Yes, with that. So with this acknowledges, this pinpointing, it gives us like a laser beam, if you will, to focus on something. We know what to focus on. We know what to work on, what needs attention. And that's why it's a very important step. You're not being negative. And I would add one other thing too. I want to just give as much as I can tonight to add some clarity. We want to acknowledge, but not own it. So take responsibility. Meaning, for example, sometimes you hear people say, I'm a diabetic. I'm not, by the way. You hear people say that. Or I have I'm a cancer survivor. I'm not discounting that. These are serious things. I would recommend, and there's research behind this, you read Dr. Bernie Siegel's work or others, instead of owning it, say, my body has been experiencing diabetes. My body has cancer. Notice the difference. So we don't want to own it. It's kind of an advanced spiritual concept, frankly, but we need to be careful that we're not mentally rehearsing, giving too much attention to what we don't want. So I hope that makes sense, because what we're talking here about is the power of directed attention. So one of the principles that I thread through the immersion all throughout is, and you've probably heard a variation of this, whatever you give attention to, you give energy to. And whatever you give energy to will grow and multiply. So a big part of what we need to do is we need to manage our thoughts, manage our attention. In a simple example, remember when you saw a new model car or a new color that came out? You know, they're always doing that. Go, whoa, I like that. And then you get it. And it looked like it was so unique. But once you have one yourself, it seems like everybody has it. Because now you're paying attention to it. And it's really that simple. So the principle behind that all the science, neuroscience backs up, is our thoughts are a catalyst, a trigger, if you will, a catalyst, a light switch to feelings. And those feelings, those emotions cause the brain, and it's very quick, cause the brain to release chemicals, neuropeptides. And those neuropeptides are the chemical messengers of the body. And influence how we feel. They influence our physiology, influence whether we're happy or upset, whether we are relaxed and in a good flow, or whether our body is tense, stressed, and we get injured too easily. I mean, the list goes on. And of course, it affects our results. So a big part that's necessary for you and I is to become masterful in managing our thoughts and our emotions so that they don't get the best of us. We recognize, we acknowledge. So let's do a quick exercise. As a problem, I'm going to do at least 3. And I've been tempted to just kind of see how I could chunk it down rather than try to do one big one. So in this particular one, a quick little reference here. In 1944, Mr. Jose Silva researched meditation, hypnosis, brain science, which back then was primarily biofeedback to do with brain waves, positive thinking, or positive, what's become known as positive psychology. He looked at a lot of wisdom schools, and he found that this stuff has been around forever, just different ways of framing it and relating to it and bringing it to people. So he spent 22 years perfecting a proprietary process that's probably the most copied, most imitated process. It works. And what it is, he created dynamic meditation. And what that means is you can be both active and passive. So you can get all the benefits. If you just do this every day for 15 minutes, that's key, by the way, 13 minutes, 15 minutes, the research shows you can normalize blood pressure, normalize cholesterol levels, boost your immune system, clear your thinking, improve circulation. You'll live longer and you'll age more gracefully. You'll feel better. You'll be more productive. You get more done in less time. Get the idea? It's like the best investment you can make in your time. Imagine the possibilities for your, in your life, professionally, personally. What he also found, though, is it's a gateway to the subconscious. The subconscious is the resulting, all the conditioning then, the programming over the years of who we are as people. And he developed this process so that by lowering brain waves into what's typically a sleep-like state, alpha and theta, and doing it consciously, we can gain and do gain access to the so-called subconscious, which he then labeled as an inner conscious state, because that word sub implies hidden, dark, mysterious, unavailable. He found that it's just a matter of conscious awareness, which takes some training. Not a whole lot, by the way. And I'll tell you, almost immediately you'll realize results. Within 30 to 90 days, though, you can make it permanent because you're creating new neural patterns. So that's what the purpose of these exercises are, twofold: to get the benefits of the relaxation for your health, your well-being, etc. And also, you can then use creative visualization. You can use tools that we developed, for example, in the Silva class for self-improvement, to change disturbing habits, etc. with that. So it's a long story short. So those of you who are Silva trained, you remember the 3-2-1 method. For those of you who are not, we spend 4 days practicing, developing it, so that when people leave the class, they're able to do it on their own, and they don't need all the steps that as an instructor, we guide you through to help create those new neural patterns. And that's the beauty of the immersion. So do use that. For the rest of us, as a courtesy to you, I want you to get the most out of this. Most common thing, eyelids closed and 3 slow, deep belly breaths. As soon as you close your eyelids, you're cutting out about 80 to 86% of the sensory input to the body. Automatically, brainwaves will slow down. Automatically, we move in the direction of these inner so-called subconscious states. And what we're looking for is controlled daydreaming. That's the key. Notice I said controlled. I mean, many of us are really good at daydreaming all over the place. And some of you found that when you meditate, you get a monkey mind that's all over the place. Again, be patient with yourself. It just takes a little bit of training. So I'll ask you to, in a moment, to close your eyelids. And when you do, just know you're full control. If you want to open them, open them. I won't see you because I'm working like this. Well, I'll wave to you. I would wave to you if I saw you. It's okay to move. If there's noise in your home or your office, wherever you are, you don't go deaf, you'll hear it. It's okay. Part of what the training development with practice helps us is to work with the reality of where we are, the environment, so that we don't have to be so strict and inflexible. And it's got to be quiet, it's got to be dark, and it's got to be this. That's not real, is it? That's not very practical. So just have fun, play with it. So 3 slow, deep belly breaths. Inhaling, filling your belly, exhaling out your mouth, please. That's a natural antidote to distress, because if our lives are full of stress, it's hard to, you're never going to be at your best. So just for that, releasing the stress. And then I'm going to use a small sample of what we do in the class. I'll count from 10 to 1 and make the suggestion that you relax more deeply than you are now. And then I'll count from 1 to 3 and offer you the suggestion that at that moment, you can imagine, you can mentally project yourself to your ideal place of relaxation, a happy place, a place that you enjoy, a place where you've actually been. Tip for you, a place where you've actually been. So you're remembering, if you like being in the mountains, if you like being at the riverbank, if you like walking on the beach like I do, then just remember a time when you were and how you felt as if you're there. So you involve all of your senses. Then I'll ask you some questions as they relate to this first step. So we'll do 3 like this, building on. So this would be kind of like part 1. We'll call it part 1. I'm also going to use, let me get my phone. Excuse me. I'll be using my phone with some sound effects. These were created for me in actually one of my trips to Switzerland decades ago. Some musicians, God bless them, they gifted me this. Sometimes I use it in Silva workshops, in mastery. In the Silva class, though, we use 3 sounds, what's called the mind-directed sound, the alpha sound, and the theta sound, which we need time to explain and put it in the proper context. Because if you don't have the proper context, it sounds like, what's that? So it's just simple, easy, kind of relaxing. Let me just set this up for you. And with this, as we go. All right, fair enough. So please loosen anything you like to loosen. Be as comfortable as you can. The ideal is to be sitting so that you stay awake. If you lay down, it's too easy to off to sleep. However, it's up to you. I recommend sitting, uncross your legs, uncross your arms. So let's begin. Exercise number 1. Allow your eyelids to close. And now with your eyelids closed, allow a very slow, deep breath. Take your time, breathe in, imagine breathing in peace. Nice and easy. Exhaling out your mouth, imagine you're blowing out any stress, any tensions. Allow another very slow, deep breath. Hold it briefly, and as you exhale out your mouth, imagine blowing out your mouth like you're blowing out a candle, releasing any of the tensions. Allow one more very slow, deep breath. Take your time. Exhaling out your mouth like you're blowing out a candle. How good it feels to progressively relax deeper and deeper. To help you relax more and more, I'm going to count slowly from 10 to 1. And on each descending number, you feel yourself going deeper, and you enter a deeper, more relaxed state of mind and body. 10, 9, feel going deeper. 8, 7, 6, deeper and deeper. 5, 4, 3. More and more relaxed. 2, 1. You are now enjoying a deeper, more relaxed state of mind and body. How good it feels to progressively relax deeper and deeper. To help you enter a deeper, healthier level of mind, I am going to count from 1 to 3 and cause a sound with my fingers. At that moment, you may imagine projecting yourself to your ideal place of relaxation, a happy place, as if you are there. I would then stop talking to you, and when you next hear my voice, you'll simply allow a deep breath, relax, and go deeper. I will now count 1, 2, 3. Project yourself, imagine yourself at your ideal place of relaxation until you hear my voice again. Involve all of your senses and imagine what would it feel like, what would it sound like, what would it be like if you were there. 3, relax. Allow a slow through your body deep breath. And as you exhale, stay awake and aware, relax and go deeper. How good it feels to relax. Tonight, you are participating in a master class of 5 steps to create a better future and a preview of the Silva Method immersion of life and intuition system. Tonight, you'll enjoy superior concentration, superior understanding, and you will hear and experience what you need to enhance the quality of your life. Step number 1 in this framework is to recognize, to be consciously aware of what's holding you back and to acknowledge it. Being free of judgment, be as objective as you can. I will now ask you a couple of questions, and I invite you to follow your first impression and just mentally think about it, and then when you open your eyes, you can write it down. Repeat mentally after me. I am not happy with. What's your first impression? What are you not happy with in your life? Now repeat after me. What would my life look like without this? Trust your first impressions. What would your life look like without this? Take your time, follow your first impressions, and allow yourself to begin to daydream some positive possibilities. You will remember these ideas. Remember, this is just meant to be short and sweet to get you started. For in a moment, I'll count from 1 to 5 and cause a sound with my fingers. And at that moment, you may open your eyelids, be wide awake and alert, feeling fine and in excellent health, feeling much, much better than before. 1, 2, coming out slowly now. 3. At the count of 5, you may open your eyelids, be wide awake and alert, feeling fine and in excellent health, feeling much, much better than before. 4, 5, eyelids open, wide awake and alert, feeling fine and in excellent health, feeling much better than before. Welcome back. Welcome back. Woohoo! That exercise was 14 minutes. Give or take a few seconds. So how did you do? Noted. Pretty good. Excellent. Whoa. Felt like I could stay longer or shorter. It takes time. It depends on what you're used to, what your skill set is, which, by the way, my friends, that's one thing I don't know. Well, many of you do know, but I don't know your present skill set. I don't know, what you've been practicing or not. So therefore, I'm organizing this in a way that can have the most general or generic appeal for that. So just stretch a little bit. Thump your thymus. Maybe wiggle your ears. And make sure you're back. Excellent. So let's continue with the 5 steps to create solutions. And number 1, we looked at acknowledging, first being recognizing we have a challenge, a problem, a difficulty, a project, becoming conscious of it, acknowledging it, taking responsibility, free of judgment. Free of judgment. That's the challenging part. It's not good or bad. It's not, oh, I'm so tired. No, it is what it is. This is the way it has been. And if you don't like it, you change it. So let's take a look at step number 2, which would be, what is your goal, your end result, or even better, your intention as it relates to what you've acknowledged? What is it that you would prefer to have? And what you want to do is, what would bring you joy and a sense of fulfillment in your life? So remember the question that maybe you can write down some of the answers. What would my life look like without what's holding me back? That relates to the end result or the goal, the outcome, and even more so, you're familiar with the term, your intention. Be clear about that. So here's where the law of directed attention is so important. And it's important that our goals, our intentions are in alignment with our values. So just as an example, it's kind of pretty often I'm mentoring people. One of the services I offer to graduates, when you take a Silva class, you get me with it. And I make myself very available to answer questions. I offer, it's more mentoring, teaching one-on-one with grads as they need. And often I've heard people say, I'm in a career, it pays great money, it's good work, and I've been doing it for a while, but they're asking me to do things that are not honest, that go against my values, that go against, I feel like I'm out of integrity. Can you relate? If you've ever been there, it's a real tough situation you begin to dread. I know somebody dear and near to me, very close to me, one of my sons, who was earning better than 6 figures. And because of so much dishonesty and not honoring agreements, he left. And at first I said, what are you doing? You crazy? And then when he told me, I said, oh, bless you. I'm so proud of you. So it's really important that our intentions, our goals are in alignment with what's important to us, who we value. And we're looking for things that bring us some joy or fulfillment. So I'd like to read something to you just briefly. What it relates to is what some called a good friend of mine. He's my coach. I'm his coach. He used to be a Silva instructor. We used to work together, John Filito. He's the author of The 90-Day Game. And he calls this the law of resonance. Real simple. How you can understand this is, if you've ever had the experience of watching, or if you had 2 pianos in one room, whatever chord you strike on one of the pianos will cause the other one to vibrate the same chord. That's resonance. You see this in one of the things that's exciting about these mega events where you're a face in the crowd. You're not even a face in the crowd because there's thousands there, but the energy, right? It is exciting. That's not my style. And I think the Silva program is better at one-on-one. That's why I limit my class to 29 people, so you get my undivided attention, and I'm coaching you all throughout. But in that, what you do get is that energy boost. There's a group thought, there's a collective, if you will, there's a community, and it's built, you build and you feed on that. And that positive energy, that joy is contagious, just like upset and anger and complaining is contagious. So be mindful of who you spend most of your time with, because they can bring you down or help bring you up. Are they truly your friends, supporting you, in your corner, encouraging you? So your thoughts and your actions carry this truth. If you carry love within you, you attract love to you. If you carry pity, hatred, anger, or resentment, you attract that as well. So I know it's very easy to read that. The challenge is mastering this law of resonance. And the beginning is be clear about your intention, what you want, and make sure that they're in alignment with your values so that you don't dread it, so that it's all systems. And this is part of where meditation can be so helpful, these dynamic meditations, because as you slow down, from the hush and rush and busyness of life, here in that quiet, we begin to allow our best self, our authentic self, we connect, which is really one of the goals of meditation, is to quiet the conscious thinking, to quiet critical thinking, and to tune into consciously inner wisdom, our authentic self, and to make that manifest in the world more and more, which is really, I think, a lifelong journey with that. So in this next exercise, what we're going to work on is the art of daydreaming. I was just reading some research. Those of you know, I tend to be a bit science-based. I like to look at different aspects. And there was some studies done with thousands of people. And the point they made about the art of daydreaming is actually good for your health, for your well-being. And some of the things that they found is that when you allow yourself time to pause from the hurry up and rush of life, to sit back, eyes open or closed, walking on the beach, by a riverbank, soaking in the tub, sitting in your comfortable chair, and to daydream about possibilities, not daydream about, not worrying about, ruminating on problems, but possibilities. You reduce stress, boost productivity. It also encourages our creativity, which will make you a better problem solver, make me a better problem solver. And what's interesting is it protects your brain. And there isn't time to even go into it, but I can tell you there's, based on thousands and thousands of brain scans, that when you do that in a positive way, you're actually helping the brain to work more efficiently, more effectively, and you're more likely to bring out your best self. The key is to master the daydreaming, to control it so that it's not aimless all over the place. Some of you call it the monkey mind. It's the most common question I've had and concern with people. Say, I've tried meditation, but I close my head's all, and my thoughts are all over the place. I understand. Technically, it's a good sign, because when you start daydreaming like that, and you start having imagery and thoughts, it shows you that your brain waves are slowing down, and you're accessing what you do every night when you go to sleep, alpha and theta levels. It's really not that hard. It's pretty simple. What's not so simple is mastering it. And that takes practice. So for example, and I just want you to know, because I'm giving you a preview, in just one of the early things we do, in just day one, you learn how to put your subconscious to work while you're sleeping. Dream control, glass of water technique, phenomenal tools that people use, because sometimes we're not clear about what's really troubling me, what's really holding me back. So we can access this inner wisdom with our intuition and pinpoint things more clearly for that. As we look at the outcome and the intention for that, with the daydreaming, we want to practice. So we use techniques like 3 fingers technique, mirror the mind, skills where you can master it. So I'm going to guide you through in the process. And I'll invite you to use whatever you're familiar with already, whatever tools you have, and I'll do it in a way that really doesn't matter. You'll be able to use it and apply it and benefit. So we're going to do, and I'm going to ask you three, let me just count them because I wrote them down here for you, do my research. I'm just going to ask you some questions. I'm not going to give you a lot of time to think about it. If you get too much time or a lot of time, you're more likely to what? Worry or analyze and get caught up in analysis paralysis. And that defeats the whole purpose of meditation. Meditation is about quieting critical thinking, which is important, being objective, very important, but there's a time and a place. We want to use both sides of our brain, so to speak. We want to use all of what we have. So we want to access this inner wisdom, these inner conscious states of mind. And when we do, that's the beauty. And if you look back in history, all throughout history, right up to today, science, medicine, the arts are full of examples of people who have had their greatest breakthroughs, innovations, creative genius while sleeping, waking up from sleep, napping, and or meditating. And now that it's become cool and mainstream meditation, have you noticed how many highly influential people in key positions in business and science and even politics, believe it or not, are referencing their meditation practice and how it's helped them, with that. So we can use this also for that. So again, be patient with yourself. The reason why I move right along is to allow you the opportunity to get first impressions. So you're not thinking. And usually when we're having an intuitive insight, it's very quick. It's almost impulsive. Can you relate? Think of a time when you had an idea. Oh, that's so good. Now, Raquel is on the call. She's a very creative person, and I had the pleasure of working with her and mentoring her and so on, and others like that. And Karen is another person who's here tonight with us. But it's so cool and interesting that when we let go and we access this, we're more likely to have ideas that help us to develop a business, to improve the business, to scale up our business, to be in the right place. So intuition, when you have a first impression where you feel like you're making it up, that's usually a good sign. After millions of people have been through this program, serving as the lead instructor, I'm called the most experienced with that, and having access to all our directors and instructors throughout the globe and hearing this, it's the most common thing when we play all those games with intuition throughout the Silva training. The most common point of reference, marker to look for is when you feel like you're making it up. It's a quick impression. So if you get an impression, great. If you get a response to the question, yes. If not, it's okay, great. Just repeat it on your own. That's why you want to go back and review this. I can assure you, you'll get so much more. So let's look at this exercise. Same thing, eyelids closed, 3 slow deep breaths. I'll count back 10 to 1. That ideal place, you can change it, but usually, again, some place where you've actually been with that. And then I'll read to you the law of resonance, just to kind of set the stage. And then I'll guide you by asking you some questions. So what we want to work on now is a goal and then the result, your intention. So it's good to have a clear intention statement, what it is you desire, believe, and expect to achieve. Focusing on the positive, what is it you desire, believe, and expect to achieve? And when you're working on this, the outcome you desire, your intention, you want to involve all of your senses, because the key is to get some emotion. Emotion is the driving force. Emotion is what helps us to make the imprint and helps us to integrate it, and really is the difference that will make the difference. So if you've already got this and you're imagining, you're daydreaming, and if you can visualizing this outcome in your life as if it's happened already. And as a result, how will it benefit you? How will it benefit others? Anyone you care about, your clients, your community, your family, your friends. What would you see as a result? What would you be feeling? How would you be behaving and acting? So kind of like you're making up a mental movie of you, your life, as a result of attaining this. It's also be very helpful to work on your life vision. So my friends, what I'm telling you too is people have often asked me how I've sustained a thriving career and how I've stayed through this, even though there's been lots of challenges on this planet and the community. Having a clear life vision makes it all worthwhile. When you're connected with your life vision, and it has a sense of meaningfulness, a sense of mission. I feel like I'm on a mission. I was born to do this work. And that helps you to navigate all the challenges that come up invariably for all of us and the difficulties. And it makes it all worthwhile. So let's do it. You ready? So just a deep breath. Again, if we were in a regular class where I have my 29 people, we would take some questions first. So I'm keeping it as simple as I can, working with you. So let's do this exercise in number 2. And I might also, just to reference you, Silva grads who've been through training, remember mirror the mind technique and the holo viewing or connection to purpose that we now do in intuition system, day 3 and 4. These are tools, techniques for you to review, to practice with, or just practice with. Okay, so please allow your eyelids to close, nice and easy. Again, comfortably erect, loosen anything you like to loosen. Excellent. Let me cue up the sound for you. And you may need to adjust the volume on your device that you're listening to this, because I've tested this, I've rehearsed it, and I have the sound exactly where my voice is louder than the sound, so that you can hear it. Working like this in Zoom with all the noise filters that Zoom has and my laptop has, it's challenging. So you may want to put the volume up more on your device or lower it, depending what sounds best for you. Just a little note. All right, so allow your eyelids to close. Now, very slowly, allow a slow, deep, cleansing belly breath. Imagine you're breathing in peace, in healing energy. Take your time and hold it briefly. Then exhale out your mouth like you're blowing out a candle. Very good. Just let the stressors out. Bringing your body back into balance and harmony. Allow another very slow, deep breath. Take your time. Hold it briefly. Imagine this creating all sorts of healing energy within you. Exhale out your mouth like you're blowing out a candle. Excellent. Keep releasing the tension. It's okay to make noise. Allow another very slow, deep breath. Take your time. Breathe in peace. Hold it briefly. Exhale out your mouth like you're blowing out a candle. Sigh a bit, a sigh of relief. That's it. Excellent. How good it feels to progressively relax deeper and deeper. It is a wonderful, healthy state of mind and body. To help you enter a deeper, more relaxed state of mind and body, I'm going to count slowly from 10 to 1. On each descending number, you feel yourself going deeper, relaxing more and more. 10, 9, feel going deeper. 8, 7, 6, deeper and deeper. 5, 4, 3, deeper and deeper. 2, 1. You are now experiencing a deeper, more relaxed state of mind and body. How good it feels to progressively relax deeper and deeper. To help you enter an even deeper, more relaxed state of mind and body, I'm going to count slowly from 1 to 3 and cause a sound with my fingers. And at that moment, you may mentally project, imagine yourself enjoying your ideal place of relaxation as if you are there. Remember to involve all of your senses. What would you feel, think, see, hear? 1, 2, 3. Now project yourself mentally to your ideal place of relaxation until you hear my voice again. Relax. Relax. Allow a slow through your body deep breath. And as you exhale, stay awake and aware. Relax and go deeper. The law of resonance. Consider this law and how it relates to you in your life. Our essential nature is non-material and composed of vibrating energy. You know that everything is energy. Your thoughts and actions carry this truth. If you carry love within you, you attract love to you. If you carry pity, hatred, anger, or resentment, you attract that as well. Love everyone, including those who are difficult or who you sense have wronged you, and you will not only do that person a favor, but everyone who encounters that person. Relax. Allow a slow, deep breath. I will now ask you 3 questions, and I want you to follow, to trust your first impressions. Question number 1. Repeat mentally after me. If I could do anything in the world, what would that be? If I could do anything in the world, what would that be? Imagine it. Feel it. What would your life be like? How would you feel? How do you feel? Imagine this as if you are there already. Remember to trust and follow your first impressions. You will remember these and can write them down later. Next, what are 3 things, repeat after me mentally, what are 3 things I want to be sure I do before I leave this earth? What are 3 things I want to be sure I do before I leave this earth? What are your first impressions? Acknowledge them. Direct your attention to them as if it's happened already. Relax. Next, repeat after me mentally. When I was a kid, I wanted to fill in the blank. When I was a kid, I wanted to. That's your very first impression. Why haven't I done that? Trust your first impressions. When I was a kid, I wanted to. Why haven't I done that? You will remember your responses. There's value in creating a treasure trove of happy thoughts that you can fall back on to bring joy. Begin by setting aside time actively throughout your day, throughout the week, and make a list of things that make you happy, such as a happy memory or an event you're looking forward to. As it is with most things, daydreaming is about striking a balance. Make sure you don't sink so deeply into your daydreaming that you let your other responsibilities slide. But avoid guilting yourself for indulging in a bit of a mind wander once in a while. Daydreaming isn't just for absent-minded or artsy-fartsy people. Getting familiar with our subconscious selves can help us reach our full potential as creative and productive beings. Relax. In a moment, this exercise will end, and you may open your eyelids, be wide awake and alert, feeling fine and in excellent health, feeling much better than before. I will now count from 1 to 5. 1, 2, coming out slowly now. 3. At the count of 5, may open your eyelids, be wide awake and alert, feeling fine and in excellent health, feeling much, much better than before. 4, 5, eyelids open, wide awake and alert, feeling fine and in excellent health, feeling much better than before. Woohoo! Welcome back. Welcome back. Check it out. Stretch. Oh, I hope you're enjoying. Even though this short, that was about the same thing. I didn't time this one exactly, but about the same thing. At least 10 minutes to 13 minutes for that. And you may have noticed, for those of you who are not familiar with me or my voice, that when we did the second one, maybe it was easier for you. Maybe you relaxed more fully. That's part of the beauty in a training. As you become accustomed to the voice, we develop trust and rapport between us. You'll find yourself getting more and more relaxed, deeper and deeper. Those of you who've been through Silva training, you remember what that was like? Day 1, day 2 is like a whole different class. Day 3 and 4, we're all friends. And there's that progressiveness. It takes time. It's not a quick fix, but the results speak for themselves. So please do this daily for yourself. However you do it, whether you're involved with Silva Method or not, it's one of the best investments you can make in your time. You'll age more gracefully, you'll live longer, you'll be more productive, you get more done less time. I could give you a big list, and I won't. So what I recommend is, by the way, we have 5 steps in this framework, right? Well, steps 1 and 2, as you may know, obviously notice, are really very fundamental and key. 3, 4, and 5 we'll cover, we're spot on. But what I'd like you to do first is if it's convenient and comfortable, would you please stand up? Just kind of shake it out. If you have water by your side, quick glass, or excuse me, sip. I meant to say quick sip of water. Shake it out, baby. If you know cross crawling, do a little cross crawl, a little stretching, bring yourself back. In a Silva training, in the immersion, every 50 minutes to an hour, I take a short pause like this for 30 seconds. Every 90 minutes, we take a 5-minute pause. All throughout, thanks to Zoom, we do breakout rooms where there's discussion, lots of Q&A, so that you're not a face in the crowd. There's not pre-recorded videos, and who do you ask questions? Customer service who doesn't know what they're talking about. It's me guiding you every step of the way as we go through, not just during the class, before the class, during the class, and after. I offer you coaching one-on-one, complimentary, to make sure you're adjusting the class, integrating it into your life. Maybe working on a project. Then we come back, just you in your class, your group, as a group, and we do more group coaching. And then I send you all sorts of video and MP3 that reviews the class, helping you to develop more applications. Lots of cool stuff. I'm actually very proud of that. Is if you look at the page announcing this December class, which is nearly full, I think we have like 5 or 6 places left. However, I offer a ton of support that's very appropriate. There's no upselling. It's all about helping you to integrate this into your life and make it permanent, so it's with you forever. Fantastic investment. So, number 1, let's go back to the framework. Please have a seat. We know we're acknowledging, taking responsibility, pinpointing our target, what's holding us back. We have a clear intention. We know what we want. And then this is something that sometimes is missing as I've traveled the world. You may know, many of you know my story. I'm the guy, Jose Silva. I was so blessed, so fortunate. Wow. As a young man, I started when I was 19. This is 1984. There are 1,000 instructors globally. Only 4 people in the world conducted Silva graduate advanced training. Jose was one of them. Dr. Wilf Hahn, Harry McKnight was kind of very responsible for building the program, my dear friend and mentor. James Needham, Elder Sheep. I became one of them. 2 of them had to step aside and do some other projects. Wow. I admit, first thing I said was, why me? I have lived up to it, and it was a wonderful lesson opportunity. So my whole life, 50 some odd years, has been with graduates, understanding, fielding questions, the quirks, the challenges. It's an incredible program, and it works. However, the key is for you and I to get it working in our own lives. And that's where the challenge is, let's put it that way. And I greet that. So this is something that too often has been missing, having a plan, a strategy. Step number 3 in this framework. You got to have a plan or a strategy. How are you going to get there? So initially, we don't need to know. That's what Mirror the Mind is all about. And when by the law of attention and the law of resonance, when you're clear about your intention and you know what you want, even though you're not sure how the heck you're going to get there, but you have the confidence that somehow, some way, you'll figure it out. That's key. And you'll do whatever it takes, study, read, get more training, whatever it might be. And you know that whether it takes you 100 years to figure it out or 10 minutes to figure it out, you begin to experience what Carl Jung, the famous psychiatrist and psychotherapist, many, many decades ago, coined the expression synchronicities, meaningful coincidences. Funny you bring that up. I want that too. Have you noticed? When you know what you want, you're clear by the law of attention. Whatever you give attention to, you give energy to. Whatever you give energy to will grow and multiply. You begin to attract into your life the people, the places, the situations, the opportunities that help you to get to where you want to go. In fact, so many of you are graduates. You know what I'm talking about when you do that. And then when that happens, you're more likely then, that's how you develop your plan and your strategy. So sometimes people hire me to mentor them, to help them develop their plan and their strategy, or they hire a business consultant, or they take additional training. Those of you know, I'm in love with in-person events. And when this pandemic broke out, I was in Australia, came back, I had a class in March, and I was looking at, I lost all my business. That was it, because I travel internationally, and all these trips, gone. I traveled to Chicago. And even here in Connecticut, where I live, make my home, we couldn't be together because of the risk, the lockdowns and everything. So the Silva International, the home office, encouraged me, asked me, I said, you're the lead instructor. If you do, others will follow. And I was fighting it, doing the virtual. And Karen, you remember, in that very first class, Karen was a part of it. I'm not going to use your last name to respect your privacy. I told him, I'm not sure how this is going to go because I'm of the belief that we need to be with each other. Well, I'd never used Zoom in this capacity, but man, I learned, and they coached me, the students, they encouraged me, and it was amazing. I would say pretty close to the same impact, almost the same as when we're in person. And I also spent a lot of time rehearsing, practicing, and how to adapt. So it wasn't just, just do it. I had to make a lot of changes and adapt exercises to fit the virtual model. So we'll probably still continue to do virtual, but I'm looking forward to, I'm aiming for next year, 2022. I'll start here in Connecticut in the spring when the weather's better, and do it in person. But anyway, you get what I'm saying. So I needed a plan, a strategy. So what I'm saying is, when all this started happening with this digital economy, way back I've always looked at things and been kind of ahead of the curve. But in 2015 to the present, I started really investing heavily in myself. Trainings, I spent thousands and thousands of dollars, a lot of time, and I'm not rolling in the dough, but it paid off. It helped me to serve you better. It helped me to improve the quality of my presentation, the content, the delivery, et cetera, et cetera. People who know me give me that feedback. They see the changes. So my friend, what I'm saying here is, part of having a plan is you want to recognize, ask yourself, what talents and strengths do you bring to the table? What talents and strengths are in alignment with your intention, your goal? And when you do that, you recognize it, it builds your confidence. Okay, baby, you have your, the Wonder Woman pose. They say that researchers say that when you stand like this, head straight up, it changes your chemistry. By the way, that is a fact. There's a science behind it. So it's important that we have that plan, that strategy, and then we might notice what's missing. That's what I meant, why I had to invest in myself, because there were a lot of things digitally in even the Zoom platform that I had no clue. They said, oh, it's so easy, click and point. Yeah, right. You got to know what to click at and what to point at and understand the terms. And people show up in my life, students who are expert, and they offer even to this day, and I'll contact them and ask for some help, some guidance. So you see what I'm saying? Nobody does it alone. Ask for help when you recognize you're missing something, but you need a plan, a strategy that you're going to implement. Join a mastermind, have a team. Fair enough? And I'll offer you one other quick framework within this framework. It's called the OAR, O-A-R, OR, O as in Oscar, A as in Apple, R as in Robert. Framework. So the O stands for observe what's going on, right? Then assess what's going on, how it affects you, how it affects your life, then respond. It's a way to keep our emotions in check so that we don't lose it. Or OAR, observe, assess, and then respond. That's a great takeaway for you. So let's do another quick exercise. And in this one, again, we're building on what we started. Some of the same, what we call them in Silva deepenings for that. And again, please be patient with me. Usually we have 4 days, 9 a.m. till 7 to build this out, to practice. We do it a step at a time. My intention is I want these master classes. They're not meant to be, I want them to be as engaging as possible. Let me focus on what I want. I want you to get great value. And yeah, I want you to take the class with me, of course. That's really up to you though. But at least I want to go to sleep tonight knowing that I did my best for you and you got some good value. And if you follow this along and you practice this, you will appreciate it and you'll thank me. So I'm going to ask you at levels, when you're quiet, in your quiet state, what would my life be like if I had these talents and strengths? And imagining. And if you recognize something where you may be a little weak, you need some help, make note of that. That's something. So in the technologies, I have a team that helps. My website's being redone. It's been a slower process because of COVID and some things that happened to their families and stuff. But any day now it'll be launched, because I've still got to review, make sure the changes. But there's different aspects for that. So let's do another exercise. Enough talking. I'm going to keep us on schedule and honor that. And this would be one of the last, the last one. And point 4, step 5, very important that we can use that to wrap up what we're doing here tonight. So please fasten your seatbelts, allow your eyelids to close, be comfortable as you can be in this situation. Excellent. Now, with your eyelids closed, allow a very slow, deep breath. Take your time. Filling your body, imagine breathing in peace and healing energy. Exhaling out your mouth. Just let it out. And know that when you open your eyes later, you'll feel much better than before. Allow another very slow, deep breath. Take your time. And as you exhale, releasing any of the stressors, the tensions that may be in your body, allowing your body, brain, and mind to be in balance. Allow another very slow, deep breath. Nice and easy. And as you exhale, stay awake and aware. Relax and go deeper. To help you enter a deeper, healthier, more relaxed state of mind and body, I'm going to count slowly from 10 to 1. And on each descending number, you feel yourself going deeper, and you enter a deeper, healthier state of mind and body. 10, 9, feel going deeper. 8, 7, 6, deeper and deeper. 5, 4, 3, deeper and deeper. 2, 1. You are now enjoying a deeper, more relaxed state of mind and body. How good it feels to progressively relax deeper and deeper. To help you enter a deeper, healthier level of mind, I'm going to count from 1 to 3 and cause a sound with my fingers. And at that moment, you may project yourself, imagine yourself at your ideal place of relaxation, your happy place, as if you are there. 1, 2, 3. Project yourself mentally to your ideal place of relaxation until you hear my voice again. Relax. Relax. Allow a deep breath. And as you exhale, stay awake and aware. Relax and go deeper. Remember, whatever you give attention to, you give energy to. And whatever you give energy to will grow and multiply. As you reflect on your intention, your goal, the outcome you desire that we're working on tonight, ask yourself now, you can repeat after me mentally, what would my life be like if I had the talents and strengths needed to fulfill my goal? What would my life be like if I had the talents and strengths needed to fulfill my mission and to stay in alignment with my values? Follow and trust your first impressions. Take your time, follow your very first impressions. Know that somehow, some way, you can figure things out. If you recognize a shortcoming, perhaps a weakness in a strength or talent, what can you do to attain it? What steps can you take? Trust your first impressions. Relax. You will remember these ideas. In a moment, this exercise will end. And at that moment, you may open your eyelids, be wide awake and alert, feeling fine and in excellent health, feeling much better than before. 1, 2, coming out slowly now. 3. At the count of 5, you may open your eyelids, be wide awake and alert, feeling fine and in excellent health, feeling much, much better than before, feeling revitalized, rejuvenated, feeling much, much better than before. 4, 5, eyelids open, wide awake and alert, feeling fine and in excellent health, feeling better than before. Woohoo! Excellent. That one was 8 minutes. Good job. Good job. It will get progressively easier as you practice. Be patient with yourself. You graced me with your presence tonight. You made an investment of your time. Now follow through. So shake it out. Make sure you're back. I want to honor the time with you. We're doing good. Some people like to thump their thymus, stretch a little bit. Sip of water if you have water by your side. Good job. All right. So we'll look at the 5 steps to create solutions, 5 steps to create a better future. And it begins with, as we said, acknowledging, recognizing the challenges, what's holding us back, having a clear intention, focusing on the positive, what it is we want, having a plan or a strategy to get there. And guess what? You can guess this one. Some of this is common sense. Just because it's common sense doesn't mean it's common practice. Nothing will happen until you do this. It's the key. It is the distinction between the winners and those who don't win. It's the distinction between those who enjoy a more fulfilling life and are enjoying things that they want in their lives and those who don't. You got to take action, right? You know that. You got to take action. So invariably, when you're clear about your intention, even with that plan of strategy, you will have some synchronicities. You will attract into your life meaningful coincidences. You'll have ideas. My friends, it is so important that we follow through on those ideas and trust them. Worst case scenario, okay, didn't work out. It's like sailing. You can adjust your sails. It's much easier to adjust than it is to start from scratch. So it's very important to act, to trust that. There are countless examples of people who will tell you, I had an impression. Or how about you? Can you relate? Have you ever had an impression you didn't act on? And the lady said, oh, I knew it. I knew it. I should have. Forgive yourself, by the way. Or how about you did have an impression and you did trust it and you acted on it and you got your feedback. Agreed? Absolutely. So action is all about taking action, is about consistency too. I've told this to people, and I say this to brag. Throughout my career, I've worked with the best of the best, and people who are far more creative and innovative. And, I never spoke before a group at 19. I used to shake like a leaf. I go dry and I had to work on overcoming that fear of public speaking using the Silva skills and techniques. But why are they gone? Why did they not make it? And I'm still here. Consistency, following my impressions and acting. Did I make mistakes? Absolutely. But if we learn from the mistakes, we do even better. And then you can pass it on to other people. So the actions is really about commitment. Commitment is like saying, failure is not an option, whatever it takes. Can you relate? How many times have you, maybe for a friend, for a family member, someone, honey, I have no idea how we're going to do this, but we're committed to it? When both of our boys, we have 3 children, both of them were in college at the same time, and they were at the state schools. It's like, are you kidding me? I didn't want them to have debt, but we were committed to it, and it worked out. We were able to. It took a massive effort. I worked my butt. I traveled all over the world, and I'm not complaining. I loved it, thankfully, because I'm enjoying the mission. So let me just read to you something about commitment. And this is an oldie but goodie. Nearly 200 years ago, a German writer and poet and naturalist, Johann Wolfgang von Goethe, wrote this comment about commitment. Think about it. Until one commits, the danger of doubt pursues us. There is fear that suggests we withdraw, and everything else becomes ineffective. In all acts of initiation and creation, there is an elemental tool whose ignorance kills countless grandiose ideas and plans. But the moment one commits to oneself, then providence moves, some might say the universe, moves as well. All kinds of things that never happened, happen to help you. A stream of events arises from this decision, creating in one's favor all kinds of unforeseen assistance and material support that no man could have dreamed of comes to one. Commitment. The magic of commitment, my friends. One of the reasons why we incentivize, the fee for the Silva class is $1,500. Make one payment, commit to the class early, and you save $303. And it's a one-time payment. You pay that, and that's it. You come back. I can't say for free. You pay a seat charge. But it's the best game in town, and repetition is important. You build on it, you get that support, you add even more clarity. I frankly think I've done so many trainings and certifications, I think it's the best game in town for that. But I've always noticed myself, when I'm on the fence with something, should I, shouldn't I, you ever know that? It sucks the life out of you. Can you relate? You can't make a decision. Should I, shouldn't I, should I, shouldn't I? Somebody wrote me, who I know in a mastermind I'm in, and I said, you're overthinking it. You're thinking too much. It sucks the life out of you. Once you commit, all things happen, and you have all these meaningful coincidences. So whatever it might be, commit to the training, the Silva training. I hope you'll be there with us. Commit to a training you're interested in, or whatever it might be. But those actions speak louder than words. And quite frankly, I no longer listen to people when they tell me what they're going to do. I watch. Actions speak louder than words. My mom used to say that all the time, who was one of the famous Silva grads. So keep that in mind. You got to have the courage. It takes courage because sometimes there's a risk that you won't work out. But if you learn the lesson, you're more likely to do better next time. And last and not least, let me move this a little bit so it's clearer for you. Once you commit and your action, things happen, and you start fulfilling your goal, you got to what? Claim it, appreciate it, celebrate it. Give yourself a high five. Celebrate the win. Take a victory lap. It may sound like I'm being silly. I'm not. I mean this. It is so important. The surest way to have more is to first appreciate what you do have. And as you know this, there's always a bigger, better, a bigger car, more expensive car, bigger house, more expensive. It's not about that. I'm really happy to say that our family, we have a modest lifestyle. We have a comfortable life, and it's very balanced between a lot of time with family and friends and free time. I'm not one, I don't think about like some people in business, scaling up, scaling up, scaling up. And then you become a slave to that. If you get what you need. So it's important that we appreciate what we have. That's why so many thought leaders, influencers tell us about gratitude. Agreed? That's what begins this. Let me put this baby back here a little bit. Let me just read something to you. Again, from my friend John Filito. Appreciation. When you focus on what you have versus what is missing, you shift from a scarce or scarcity consciousness to an abundant mindset or mentality. The universe is complete. Nothing is missing. By appreciating what you already have, you increase your perception of its value, opening you up to noticing and attracting more and more to be grateful for. So my friends, let me ask you this question. Who's in your life you're happy is in your life? Who's in your life that you're grateful about? Or even today, please, I want you to do this every single day, at least once a day, maybe in the morning you get up before you go to bed. Thank you, universe. Thank you, God. Thank you, mom. And often you can think of your intention as if it's happened. Thank you for helping me to reach this goal, even though it hasn't happened yet. It creates a state of being. And research, there's a lot of research behind that. When you're in a state of gratitude, there's a resonance, if you will. You're creating a state of being that, like a magnet, you begin to attract the circumstances, the people, the places, the opportunities that will help you to fulfill your goals. It's a way to direct your imagination and your daydreaming so that we don't get caught up in the worry loop. Yes, there's perhaps a lot to be angry about, a lot to be concerned about. I agree. The world needs you. The world needs solutions. Our world, forget the world, your community, your family. And we can do it. We may not be able to change the world, but in the long run, we are. In the long run, we're contributing. But it's up to you and I to take responsibility for ourselves. And I sincerely hope whatever skill set you do, whatever training you do, help other people with that. Share the good news. Because too many people are suffering now and are being victimized by the negative, constant barrage of news alerts, breaking news. Everything's breaking news. Have you noticed? And then it's repeated 24/7. Yes, there's challenges, but do we need to know everything going on all over the world? I mean, we've got our own lives. There's a point you need balance with that. So yes, acknowledge it, be aware for that. So I sincerely hope you enjoyed our work together tonight. Please practice, take this home. Make sure you come back and you review this and you go over, take some good notes. If I can be of help to you, it's a note. If you're interested in the upcoming December class, like I said, there's 5, first come, first serve in there. If not then, perhaps another time, I would be honored to be your facilitator, your trainer. And the only difference, I'll tell you this, you have everything you need. Don't let anybody try to persuade you that you have to. No, you've got everything you need. You've got your authentic self. You've got your talents. It's just that maybe what's missing is the owner's manual, the instruction, the skill set to bring it to life. And that's the distinction between you and me is I'm not perfect. I'm here just like you to learn and grow. I just have a heck of a lot more experience using the Silva Method tools. And I have a ton of experience facilitating it. So I know what works, what doesn't work. And I know exactly what to say, think, or do in the class. And just read some of the comments that people make and grace me with. So my friends, until the next time, have a good night. And we're pretty close to on time. Those of you who know me, I'm getting better and better with honoring the schedule for that. So you have a wonderful night. You take care and bless you. And I will officially end. And again, one more time.